Today we're going to be working on these SI wheels. As you can see, there's all this nasty flaky clear coat on them, so we're going to go ahead and strip that off and sand it down and make it look something more like this. And the car is going to go from looking like this to this. Going from having steelies on to having SI wheels on makes a whole car look better. Heck, it even makes my paint look better. Alright, maybe I went ahead of myself right there, but I mean, just look at these wheels. It literally speaks for itself. Not only can you see yourself with them, but you could even see the future with these, man. But in order to get to that mirror finish, there's gonna have to be some work done with the whole wheel. And of course, with that, we're gonna start off by taking off all this flakiness. And for that, we're gonna be using this 2-minute paint stripper and this foam brush to spread it. And you will also need a whole lot of sandpaper. Pause the video to see all the different grits you'll need. And of course, we're going to be wet sanding it, so make sure you have a spray bottle and a brush. That way we can clean up the surface before we get started. Okay, now that that's clean, make sure you put some gloves on because we're going to be using this paint stripper and putting it on along these spokes, and also using this foam brush to spread it around. And when it comes down to pouring the paint stripper, make sure you're very generous about how much you're putting down because it's going to take a whole lot to get all this clear coat off. And once you have the paint stripper on the whole wheel, make sure you just leave it out for at least a couple hours or overnight.
Tomorrow.
Okay, now that we had let the paint stripper do its thing, we're gonna go ahead and grab a wire sponge and a normal sponge. And with that normal sponge, all we're gonna be doing is wiping off any excess paint stripper.
What's happening?
Don't you get it? You are the cleaning utensil.
And once we have all that excess paint stripper off, we are going to go ahead and grab our wire brush and start scrubbing any areas that still have clear coat. The paint stripper should have softened the clear coat, so it should be fairly easy to take off. And once you have all that taken off to the best of your ability, we are going to move on to the next step. Now, I know there's still some spots that have clear coat, but don't worry about that. We're going to be using sandpaper to take the rest off. But for now, let's focus on this curve rash. Well, it actually looks more like an indentation, so let's just go ahead and try to fix that. I'm going to be using my Dremel for this with the wire brush attachment to clean out any debris that may be stuck inside that indentation. After that, we are going to be hitting it with 120 grit sandpaper. Also, keep in mind, whenever you're trying to remove any curve rash or even indentations or any kind of wheels, you always want to hit the spots around the damage as well, not just on top of the spot that is damaged, but also around it. That way the finished product is nice and smooth and isn't like really bumpy. Okay, it definitely does feel and look better. I'm still gonna hit it a little bit more. Now, I know that area with the big chip, I won't be able to fix 100%, only because that area will for sure need some sort of metal filler, and I currently don't have that with me. So we are just gonna have to leave it for something we do sometime in the future. And here are the results. They definitely do look better than before, so I'm really happy about that. Now that we got that out the way, we can now start sanding down the whole wheel. And we are gonna start off with 120 grit sandpaper. With the 120 grit sandpaper, you just wanna sand it down lightly. Do not put too much pressure. Unless you see some deep scratches that you definitely want to get rid of, go ahead and add pressure. And just keep on sanding it down until there's no more clear coat and the whole surface looks uniform with no outstanding marks or scratches. And you would just repeat the same process with the 220 grit sandpaper, 320 grit, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1500, and 2000. After everything, it should look like this. Now, we do still have this metal indentation here, but like I said, it's gonna need some metal filler to fill it in, or we're gonna have to sand it down a whole lot, and I just don't want to do that. So now all that there is left to do is polish the wheel. And for the polish, I'm gonna be using Mother's aluminum polish solution, paired up with this polishing kit that I got from Amazon with all these attachments for a drill to make this job a whole lot faster. To apply the polish, make sure you put a good even amount throughout the whole wheel. I'm gonna put a whole bunch of just little dots here and there, and I'm gonna go over it with the drill and spread it around that way. Then just simply buff out the wheel until you see the solution turn from white or yellow to black. And once you have the whole surface buffed out, grab a microfiber towel and clean off any excess polishing solution. Make sure you apply a good amount of pressure to work the polish into the wheel. And with a good amount of pressure and patience, you will start to see that mirror finish start showing itself. Fast forward, here is how the results look. It already looks a whole lot better than it did in the beginning, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with another coat to see if I could get an even better mirror finish. So here is the one that I polished a second time. It clearly does look a whole lot better than the one I only polished once. So I'm gonna go ahead and just repolish the whole thing a second time to make the shine look a whole lot better. And here we have it, the final finished product. Do the same thing for the remainder of the wheels and it will have them looking like this. I also tried to fix up the center caps by taking off all the flaky clear coat, but the only way I found possible to do that was to also take off the Honda badge, and I did not want to do that.
That's how people know it's a Honda. What's the point of having a Honda if you can't show it off?
So it's gonna look a little funky for now, but I'm thinking about getting new center caps in the future anyways. But here's how it looks, almost perfect. But of course, there was some imperfections, like here with this scratch. But I'm not about to go over this whole thing again just to get this scratch off. Not only there, but I also messed up here and here. But I don't care about that right now. I'm just gonna leave it like that for now and possibly work on it sometime in the future. But it already looks a whole lot better than before. And just so that you guys see how much of a difference wheels alone could make, here is how the Civic looked with the Steelies on. And here is how it looks with the SI wheels on. It definitely does look a whole lot better, does change the whole look of the car. And yeah, with that being said, that's the end of today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.